Star Trek The Next Generation Season 2 is something that I just completed. Now I watch this in sort of two halves because I don't like to have Netflix all the time. Sometimes I take a break from a streaming service and I jump to a different one. So I did some notes on my phone, which I'll read. No, not there. And then I'll just do a sort of review for each episode. Just my thoughts that I wrote down. So for The Child, which is episode 1 of Season 2, it's just a filler placeholder episode. We get to see the big changes from Wesley's shirt, new doctor lady, Worf's shirt, Riker with a beard, and Troy's baby that will obviously not be there by the end of the episode. Nothing special here. Where Silence Has Lease is the second episode. I like this episode. It was a very nice build-up. Reminded me of the Durax Ocean episode from Evangelion. The being was very malevolent and even killed the guy for no real reason. I like the ethical questions invoked by this situation. Elementary Dear Data is episode 3. It's another holodeck episode. I like the idea of being evolving and etc., but the ending was cheesy. I wanted someone to delete Moriarty. A good set design, but not really much going on here. Outrageous Alcone is the 4th episode. I disliked this episode. I liked seeing the trope of the dashing solo rogue captain, but his subplot was so uninteresting. I love the subplot with Data and the search for humor. That was really good. Loud as a Whisper is the 5th episode. I like the inclusion of having a deaf telepathic character. Other than that, it's a standard episode with an undeveloped Civil War that isn't really developed enough. Schizoid Man. I really like this episode. Lots of themes of immortality, and the whole climax is so powerful from Picard. Heavy-duty sci-fi with not too much set dressing, mostly theme and character development. Unnatural Selection. It's another virus pandemic episode, but it's high stakes due to the nature of who is at stake. They didn't do the whole crew, just one person, so it was kind of more realistic. Mostly, let's see, I like that O'Brien got more screen time as the transporter man. A Matter of Honor. I didn't even leave any notes for this because it's just such a good episode. Like, we all know it is. I'm not going to say anything. The Measure of a Man is considered another classic episode. This is the one where the Data has to prove himself a being to a man who wants to take him apart and build a new, take Data apart, kill him, but then use that information to create an army of a new race. So it's like a lot of ethical stuff going on. I didn't like the mock trial thing because they introduced 2 characters just to have them for this, but overall I like the themes. And then a nice recall for the Stargazer. The episode was uneven in some areas, but I can see its merit for being a classic episode because of the philosophical questions involved. The Dauphin. This episode was dumb. Wesley was a simp like 30 years before the invention of the word. Contagion. Really liked this episode. The amount of Romulans and the mystery behind it all was very thrilling. Lots of high-stakes stuff, but also lots of intrigue. The Royale. This episode had a weird concept. I didn't care for the episode. I don't have a lot of thoughts on it. Yeah, this is the one with the hotel and the mystery in space and it's like a Vegas thing. Yeah, I didn't really like that. And that's where I stopped for a while. Time Squared. A very interesting little psychological episode, but most of it is left unexplained, so I didn't really care for it. Yeah, it was pretty cool. It was nice seeing Picard wig out, seeing himself, but really not much of this episode. The Icarus Factor. This episode was basically one of 2 halves. I didn't care for the melodrama between Riker and his father. It seemed a little too tad on the nose, but there's some good character insight for him, at least, for Riker. I like the subplot of Wolf's thing a lot more. It was way more interesting and very atmospheric and very heartfelt. I also liked how both plots intervened in terms of theme, though. Pen Pals. This was some good moral and ethical dilemmas, but it was a tad clumsy in plotting. For example, Wesley's thing just so happened to interconnect with the main problem of the planet. I also felt the child actor was super annoying. Maybe that's why Picard was really mad at that. Q Who. Oh, this is another classic episode because we get an introduction of the Borg. Very scary stuff. We also get some really cool intrigue with Whoopi Goldberg's character. I really liked this Q episode. They usually do 1 per season or more, but yeah, this one was really great because of the prestige of introducing a new threat that's really far away that they've never seen before. Samaritan Snare. 17th episode. I disliked this episode for the Picard subplot. There's some nice character development, but the overblown surgery was really over the top. They're trying too hard. I like the idea of the Simpleton alien threat, but the resolution was underwhelming. It just happened a really bit too easy. Up the Long Ladder. This was a likable episode. It's the one where they discover two different colonies. One's very advanced, but they have to clone each other. And the other one's like Irish, but really backwater. I like the moral dilemmas involved and the differences in culture, as well as the clone sequence. That was very creepy. It reminded me of Conspiracy, the visual effects. I like the clashing of the personalities of all involved. It was a very likable episode. Manhunt, another standard episode. Troy's mom's so annoying, who keeps trying to fluster Picard. And the other subplot was pretty lame because it wasn't developed. Yeah, it was just a standard episode. The Emissary was one of my favorite episodes of the season. I like the Klingon episodes more because of the world building. They're more exciting, and there was a lot going on in this episode. I really liked the finale too. This is a classic episode for sure. Peak performance. It has one of the best Picard quotes, and it's a decent finale. But overall, it was just a standard episode, with the whole Data and going up against that guy in Strategema. Yeah, it was just an overall episode. I mean, it was okay. I liked the finale, but it was okay. And the finale, Shades of Grey. Terrible episode. It's just a clip show. Riker is in no real danger, really. I never felt like it. I would have preferred a more atmospheric, dreamlike world with a child that is his consciousness instead of just flashbacks. Yeah, it felt kind of lazy. They just sort of showed all the most dangerous parts of his life, or his most amorous. It was definitely not a well-crafted episode, and definitely not for a season finale. So those are my thoughts on Star Trek: The Next Generation Season 2.